All right. Uh-huh. Let's go. How y'all doing? I hope you are just getting into my intro music and like it as much as I do, because I do like it for all those old school Timbaland genuine people. Anyway, let me let you know where you're at. This is Craig's Pop Life podcast. You know me as Craig's Pop Life on the Twitter. That's my IG. So now you know me on the podcast. And basics is basics. I'm a black gay man. Been that. I'm the author of Luther, The Life and Longing of Luther Vandross. I'm the author of All I Could Bear, My Life in the Gay Club. Child, what's the name of the book? All of my. It's hard hearing yourself while you're doing this. I think I'm gonna try to turn off the microphone. I don't need to hear me. You know that Janet and she's like, I need to hear me. Well, I don't. But is this going to hold on, y'all? Now, see, what I will give y'all is I will always be live. And so if something fuck up, then that's just the way it is going to be. What happened? Oh, child, now we're hearing the big old... no, that's not going to work. Hold on, y'all. Okay, can y'all hear me? Am I recording? Am I recording? Or like T.S. Madison says, is it live? So anyway, what was I talking about? Okay. So I'm an author. I wrote Luther, The Life and Longing of Luther Vandross, which is a biography, obviously. Get it at your local whatever. There ain't no bookstores no more, so I don't know where you're going to get it. Get it off your local Amazon. Steal it from somebody on the street. Not steal it, but somebody has their goods out on the sidewalk or what have you to it. It's cold outside. People need their coins. My other book is a memoir about how I was a stripper through graduate school. Long before Cardi B was a stripper hoe. I was a stripper hoe. Stripping through, pay for grad school. And I'm still in $100,000 worth of debt, so I don't know how that shit worked. But anyway, you can read that story. All I Could Bear, My Life in the... God, why can't I get my title right? Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me take a deep breath. Okay. All I Could Bear, My Life in the Strip Clubs of Gay Washington, D.C. Like that. Okay. So you can check that out, and then you can check out my most recent novel. Well, it's my only novel, but it's also my most recent book, and it's called Who's Your Daddy? And when people ask a lot about that book, it's inspired by some time I spent living in Providence. And the way I kind of think of all my books together, it's interesting. Like, I feel like they're all related to gay love in some extent. I feel like Luther in large ways was me kind of paying homage to a generation that maybe couldn't be open about their sexuality. And, I had plenty of friends. I knew people of that generation because of the time that I came out. So I felt like I was trying to do justice to that generation. And All I Could Bear, that's just about me being 20s and wild and crazy and want to show my ass all over town, get a dollar, kind of, put my foot into the relationship waters, but at the same time knowing that there was a lot out there that I needed to explore, and kind of that feeling that a lot of gay men have of like, ain't nobody asked you to the junior ball. Ain't nobody probably asked you to the senior ball. We wasn't Instagramming same-sex shit on, going to prom and all that stuff. That was not the 80s, trust and believe. So I think for a lot of my generation, we had that feeling of, I need to get out there. I need to party. I need to get my John Hughes film on. You know what I mean? So a lot of that is kind of in All I Could Bear. And now the thing I think about the novel, Who's Your Daddy, is that kind of deals with this weird thing in the generation I'm in, where it's kind of like we came up, a lot of people right above us were battling with AIDS and everything like that. They weren't really thinking about much more than that. They were thinking about survival. They were thinking about the survival of their friends. They were activism. They brought us a lot of stuff that we take for granted today, and we owe that generation so much. But like, I don't really feel like anybody. I mean, I was, they were my peers, and we had conversations. Nobody was really talking about love. It wasn't like a Cinderella type situation. Nobody was talking about, oh, when you'll grow up and do this. People were trying to stay alive the next day, the next week, the next whatever. So, just that kind of stuff just wasn't there. And then it really took the generation after mine to go forth with all the marriage equality stuff and everything, which I understood was important, from a civics, and I think civics is the right word, but whatever. I know the shit's important, okay? But it's nothing that I ever felt kind of an emotional connection with just because, I'd spent most of my life being closeted. So the idea of marriage and long-term relationships, that wasn't my bag anyway. And then when I came out way into just the AIDS activism and the ACT UP and everything, ain't nobody was thinking about holding hands and dancing through the tulips and shit like that. It just wasn't the mood. And so then I find myself kind of in middle age and like, well, what does love mean for me? I mean, I definitely don't want to be on nobody's cake covered in frosting. That's just not my move right now. But like, do I even want love? What do I want? And so, what Who's Your Daddy deals with, it's like three middle-aged gay men at different stages of middle age, like one person's in 30s, one person's 40s, one person's in 50s, and just trying to deal with that question of like, hey, we're one of the first, generation of gay men in a while that didn't have to deal with the pathology of the closet and the oppression of that, and also didn't have to deal with the, sort of day-to-day trauma that brought at the heart of the AIDS epidemic. So it's kind of like a lot of us just have our hands up in the air, like, well, what do we want to do? I never really thought that I was going to have a lifetime partner. Do I want a lifetime partner? I don't even know what kind of ring looks good on my finger. You know what I mean? So all those issues. Anyway, that's what's in. I'm going on too long. But that's basically what is in Who's Your Daddy. And then the new book that I'm working on is a book that was really inspired very recently. So I'm writing this quicker than I've ever really written anything as far as book-wise. But when Janet Jackson was finally inaugurated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year, just the discourses around that and like whether she was rock and stuff, and just this sort of narrative about her career that I didn't necessarily think was inclusive enough about all that she's done, and even more importantly, that inclusive enough of how she fits into the African. Damn, y'all know I just almost knocked over my good Gold Peak diet tea. Do y'all like Gold Peak diet? That's my favorite kind of diet tea. It is hard to find, so I'm not trying to knock it over. So excuse me in the middle of my point. But no, but like just put her in a larger context, because I think that looking at her story is bigger than just you start to see things that are bigger than entertainment. You start to put in the context of just African American history in general, the context of American history, the context of American popular culture. Now, it's not going to be a heavy book. It's going to be a short book. It's going to be a short book of essays and everything like that. But I think what I always try to do, and this is definitely what I tried to do with Luther, is like, if I'm dealing with a subject, I want to take it back to the point at which their success did not at all seem inevitable. You know what I mean? So for Luther, I had to go back to the days when he's just this overweight guy running around New York, people paying him for studio sessions with macadamia nuts, and ain't nobody thinking that this guy slumped over in his chair singing this beautiful music is going to be a star. And so I had to take it back to that to really understand that story. And the same thing with Janet. Like, I just, ever since Control, there's just this narrative. She did Control, then she started being in social activism, then she was introspective and this, and this. And what I'm trying to do for myself before I start writing, of course, it may all come back to that, but before I start writing, I just need to kind of blow that up and just to rethink it all for myself. So, I'm going way back. I'm reading Catherine's biography. I'm watching the old Jackson 5, the television specials. Shout out to eBay. I'm watching the old good times. I'm just really trying to immerse myself into that moment of really reconceiving where she came from, and kind of even, she's a couple of years older than I, so we're always around the same age. So like I know even in the way I watched her come up, I was very much relating to her as like a slightly older sister or a cousin or something like that. And so I'm even trying to like see that from a different frame. So anyway, that's all. And I was going to talk about that all later, but now I just ran off the mouth in advance. But that's what I'm working with. And that book, Special, A Critical Meditation on the Life and Artistry of Janet Jackson, will be out. Like I said, it'll be a self-published book, and I'm doing it myself. But trust and believe, you will have it in your hands by the time she goes to the stairs, by the time the ceremony starts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the HBO airing. I'm talking about the actual one. But I'm not committing to a date in March. Basically what it is, when you publish something on the Amazon, you basically just have to deliver it about a week before it actually comes out. So I'm going to tell you all the date, and I have it all together. And the other fun things about about what's going to be in the book is that there's going to be the full written transcripts of both my 2001 Vibe interview with her and my 2006 Vibe interview. And I know a lot of you all have listened to that and downloaded it, over the years. And of course, I lived the damn thing. But reading through the transcripts and kind of just having to correct, because you know how I talk. Can't nobody translate exactly how I talk. So, just reading through and just kind of correcting things, I'm finding that there is this whole sort of other life to the interview just as the transcripts. Like, I'm noticing certain things that maybe the way she answers stuff, or the certain exchanges that didn't necessarily pop out to me when listening to the interviews, but that really have some resonance. So I think you all are going to really enjoy it. It's for y'all. And by y'all, I mean me. I mean, it's what she deserves. I mean, please, like, how many books have been written on Madonna? How many books have been written on whatever? I mean, I just, feel like I want to make a critical statement about Janet, and this is the right time to do it, and I'm going to do it. And I'm glad that you guys are with me. So back to like I'm on my first card. I haven't mentioned anything. That's how I'm organizing these things. Yeah, well, whatever. So support my books. Basically, because at this point, the podcast ain't sponsored by shit. So it's sponsored by my books in all formats. You can get your paperbacks, you can get your audibles, you can get all that shit. So please support my work if you want to continue hearing me. And I know a lot of people are like, Craig got a new podcast every goddamn month. This bitch has something out last year talking about his 90s R&B podcast. And yes, that is true. And yes, you are accurate if you remember that. And shouts out for you remember that, because I appreciate people paying attention to anything I do. Okay, well, let me tell you that story. Okay, this is the way it happened was. Okay. So I wanted to start like a 90s R&B podcast, but like, be playing the music and, digging in my digital crates for all the little remixes I have that a lot of people don't have, and just all sorts of stuff like that. So I do it. I get me a logo. I find me a platform. I'm doing it. I'm mixing. I'm DJ, one song into the next, and having my little vocals into the thing. Like I'm a DJ from back in the day, like the type of people I grew up on, the Donnie Simpsons, the Melvins, Lindsays, the names. Come to find out that because I was using copyrighted material through the songs, Apple was like, bitch, you can't put this shit on our site. You know what I'm saying? And like, but the thing was, what's the point of having a podcast if you can't have it on Apple, which is the platform that most people listen to podcasts? So I was able to put it up on YouTube. Now YouTube, every song in there, YouTube makes sure each person collects their coin, so I don't make a dime off of it. But it's like, what's the point of having a podcast if it's just going to be on YouTube? So I had to rethink that and just kind of really, hold on for 1 second. I had to have a sip of my Gold Peak Diet Iced Tea. Now that would be the bomb if Gold Peak would sponsor a show, because Lord knows I drink this Gold Peak Diet Tea, and it's hard to find. It is hard to find. It's almost like a beacon, because the Gold Peak Diet has a silver type. And I swear I can walk me in a CVS and like I can see across the rooms like that silver top is called to me, and I'll be like like Bionic Man running through it to grab it. Because like I said, you don't get them everywhere. So what else was I gonna say? I was gonna just talk about some of my credentials. Y'all don't need to know all that. And y'all know I done interviewed all the girls. So like yeah, so I put them all together in a zip, like my interviews with Janet and Mariah. I think maybe Mary's in that. I put it together in a zip for you all to download it. But if you've already downloaded some and want some more or whatever, just email me and I'll give it to you in the format that you would like it in. So anyway, we're back to what is this podcast about? This podcast is just Craig RAW. It's just me talking because I miss talking. Like I realized, like I'm the type of guy that growing up, like I was that person. Junior high, I have my whole list of friends to call, and I'd be laying there, half watching TV. The cord be all stretched out because it couldn't fit into the TV room, and I just like talking, but it's just not the same when you talk on the cell phone. It's just something's different. So I just miss talk. I just miss talking shit. Basically, I just miss observing shit of the day and then being able to talk shit about it. And no, I'm not texting and I'm not emojifying. Sometimes you just want to talk. Sometimes you just want to get something off your chest. So that's basically what this is. I'm just going to, each week, what I'm going to try to do is record this so that you all have it on Friday afternoon, because anybody that's been following me from any period of time knows that my favorite thing is recommending people stuff. I don't know why, and I don't make no money off of it because something got crazy with my Amazon affiliates. So to this point, now I'll tell y'all if I get a coin. And please, if I start getting this Gold Peak Diet Tea deal, I will tell y'all that it is sponsored by Gold Peak Diet Tea, and I will take a big ass sip. And you will hear all the refreshment in my voice. But as for now, I ain't getting shit. So everything that I'm telling y'all to get into is what I would truly, advise you to just as a friend. So my basically format is like, I'm just going to look through things a week organically that I like, things I want to put you on to and everything. And then if there's a particular issue or pressing situation in the week, then I'll talk about it. Or if there's something you want me to talk about, questions, answers, what have you, just, it feels silly to even tell people like, I'm everywhere. I mean, you could find me on the street, and just ball up a question and, throw it at me. But anyway, I'm on the Instagrams, I'm on the Twitters, the Facebook, but please don't send me nothing on Facebook. But, and all that. And the only thing I'm not on Snapchat. For a while, I think I was on it just to follow some hot guys, but it wasn't even interesting enough to me on that level. So, let's see what's first up. First up, let's talk about music, because this is the time that a lot of times music can be kind of dry, because it's like the beginning of the year and stuff. People don't really do the hotness. But this is a feature of the show, so I'll just mention it. I started a Spotify playlist. And the only reason I did it on Spotify is because I know a lot of people use Spotify. But just for the record, I'm a title person because I support Black businesses and anything associated with Jay, B, and Rihanna. But anyways, I have it on Spotify for y'all. And it's just called Craig's Pop Life. And that's just going to, when I talk about music, I'm just going to put songs in there just ongoing. And, if I talk about an album or something, I'll just put a couple of my favorite tracks. So you can just follow all of the music that I'm talking about on Craig's Pop Life. And, I'll give you a variety. You get the pop girls, you get the R&B girls, you get the hip hop girls, just like the type of music that I listen to. But first up for me right now is this Summer Walker album. What's it called? Dang, I don't even know what. See, that's why I need a producer. What's the album called? Hold on, y'all. Okay, about Summer Walker. But how many of y'all were into Summer Walker last year? Because Summer Walker dropped Last Days of Summer, and I loved it. I really, really loved it. But some people had stuff to say about it. Like I was playing around my mother. She won't like that I'm mentioning her in the story, but I was playing around my mother, who likes, she likes contemporary music and she likes SZA and stuff, and we would listen to SZA and all that. Anyway, so I was playing the Summer Walker album. And I was like, oh, I really like her. Some people say that she sounds a little bit like SZA. Here's my mother. I thought it was scissor. So I was just like, whatever. So that was that dismissive comment. But I feel, and you know, I can hear it, definitely. But I feel with her new EP called Clear, I feel like she really is starting to just find her own lane a little bit. It really is giving me a lot of flashbacks of like the first Tweet album. You know, not all the dance stuff and stuff like that, but when Tweet would get her with her little guitar and crank out a groove, you know, or do like a sad song, when she give you like a Always Will or a Smoking Cigarettes, like this new Summer Walker is really giving me that vibe. So I would definitely check that out. I'm loving it. Other thing is Dawn's come back. Now, see, Dawn from Danny Decane, you know, it's one of them things. I knew she was making good music, and I knew she was making music that I would respect, but I just ain't listen to it. You know, it's like sometimes you just listen to a lot of music, too much stuff's on your plate. It seems like every time she dropped, I was doing something. I just never really got into it that deep. A couple of years ago, she did a duet with one of my favorite groups, Dirty Projectors, and I love that song. I think it was Cross Your Heart to Respect Your Heart. So what's that song's name? It was. I know y'all like, why can't he just put the thing in later? Why is he doing this? Because it's live, and this is what happens in the context of like, cool your heart, cool your heart. Yeah, that was a very good song. I'll put that in the playlist too. But this one, she just jumped out. Like, this is really good. It's like a concept album. It's all about her New Orleans roots and everything, and Black Indians and all of that. And, you know, I was one of those people that, one of those few people that was like a super fan of HBO's Treme. So it kind of brings me back to those days and everything like that. And she has this one song. I'll throw this in the playlist. But my favorite song is a song called Jealousy. And she's about like, it starts out and she's like, you know, I know I shouldn't have made this Instagram post to your ex-girl, but I want the petty to win tonight. So you know, you had me at that. I was like, that goes right on the brown liquor playlist. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, sometimes you do want the petty to win. You know, you may regret it in the morning, but sometimes the petty feels good. So, you know, respect the petty. The other thing, and this is a Tidal thing too, Tidal has the dope ass isted playlist. Like, Total offers you playlists, and I'm like, God damn, this is dope. They're called My Mixes, and like you get about 5 or 6 a day, and I mean, Tidal does you right. Tidal does you right. Tidal does you right sonically. That hi-fi sound blows your mind. And they really do go in as far as the mixes and stuff. And then the one thing they do, which would irritate me any other place, like I hate when YouTube does it, hate when anybody else does it, I hate autoplay. Because you know how sometimes you sit down and you are in the mood, like I'm one of those people, like I need a song sometimes to get me to an exact mood, and I just need that song. I need it to start and stop, and I can do what I need to do, but I can't do what I need to do unless I feel that song from beginning to end, and that's it. Can't confuse it. So I hate if I'm like listening to a song on YouTube, and let's say it's like a mellow groove or something like that, and then before I can even get my finger up good to pause it, they play some hype song or something that totally, you know, ruins the mood with nothing what I wanted to hear, you know? So I usually hate, so I have all my autoplays turned off and everything like that. Now, Tidal is the exception to the rule. Tidal, I didn't even know I had my autoplay play on, but 9 times out of 10, Tidal, I'll be walking, I play a specific song, and then another song come on after that, I'll be like, damn, what is that? You know, I'll be walking the dog, I have to, you can't poop now, sis. I need to figure out, you know, I'll be pulling out my phone, be like, what is this? And adding it to the playlist and stuff like that. So this is one of the artists I found that way. And I don't even know how to spell the child's name. It's Iyla. I think it's like iyla. I don't know what the name is. I don't know. It's a white chick, long hair, and on the cover she got a whole bouquet of flowers sticking out her mouth. But all I need to know is that her song Juice is nice. It's just one of those real electro mellow grooves. It just seems like we're getting a lot of them this time. Like I love this renaissance of this kind of like it's the R&B groove, but you give me a little futuristic effects and everything. I'm just loving this era that we're in right now. So check out whatever the child's name is, but the song's Juice. Just if you if you look up Juice and you see a young white girl with long ass hair and flowers sticking out her mouth, that's the right one. That's the only directions I can give you. So there's that, and I added some in the playlist. I added some other stuff from that I've been liking at the end of the year, but you have that kind of crossover period. And I know some of y'all gonna be giving me side eyes. Let's just go ahead, because I got that Miley Cyrus song, "Nothing Breaks But a Heart," on it. I love that record. It's co-produced by Jamie XX, who I love because I love the XX and I love his stuff. And I mean, I really think I like Miley. Like I know she bullshit. She's made problematic for her relationship with pop culture, but I do kind of see that. She's done been a child star, and she was, doing the most with all that "We Can't Stop" and all that whole, what was the name of that album? Glitter, Glamour. What was the name of that thing? I have to just look it up, otherwise it's gonna drive me crazy. Gangsta. And I had the stickers and all nine. I can't believe I don't remember the name of that album. With Record Ball. Bangers. I knew it was something. So, with that whole, what was a dope joint on Bangers though? Let me see. Maybe Do My Thing. I'm gonna have to get back to it because I can't play the music, but there was one song I really, or Get It Right. I think it was I'm gonna pause this for a second. I can't pause this recording. Oh well, I think it was Get It Right. Anyway, one of them songs I really love. But the point is, and then she came back out, talking about I don't do hip hop, and of course my nose was in the air, like whatever. But then I loved that Malibu song. I mean, I was running around singing that like I was Belinda Carlisle having just released Mad About You. Like I just loved that. Made me feel all sunny. Made me want to, shake the hair I didn't have through the breeze. So I liked it, but I didn't really listen to anything off the album. And then now I like this Nothing Breaks But the Heart. So sue me. And then this Shawn Mendes, I love Shawn Mendes. Just get into it. The Zayn album was really good. The Zayn album was like a really nice, mellow R&B joint. So there's a couple of joints on that. And then I know y'all gonna think, whatever, he just likes these little, stupid social media white boys. But I like the Cameron Dallas single. I really do. Why Haven't I Met You? He's giving me Justin Bieber journals kind of vibe and stuff like that. I like it. I'm 50-year-old black gay man. I can like what I like. So moving on to the reading, what I'm reading now. I can't really recommend this or not. It's just one of those books that like I literally just cracked it, but it's one of those books that seems to be an important book. It's by Hanif Abdurraquib, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and it's Go Ahead in the Rain, Notes to a Tribe Called Quest. So it's kind of like a personal love letter to a Tribe Called Quest, kind of using memoir, bringing in the music, all the kind of stuff that I like. So I'm really and kind of dealing with the same approaches that I'm wanting to bring to Janet. So I'm really interested in seeing how he does that. And come read it with me and let me know how you like it. Because like I said, I just cracked it. Well, I ain't cracked shit because I have it on the I wish I would crack my Kindle, but I just got into it. I'm probably like less than 20%. So if you're interested in reading it, I would love to know that some other people are reading it along with me and we can compare notes and everything. Okay, so what am I watching? Y'all been keeping up with Grownish? Because I feel like Grownish got real ass good this season. Like, Grownish, I have been stopped watching Blackish. But like, I watch Grownish and I enjoy Grownish. But now Grownish is like, it's like my little mini Insecure. Like, I really get my I'm really getting my life from Grownish. They really deal with a lot of issues. The writing is sharp and everything, the acting and everything. So if you hadn't really been giving Grownish much attention or just whatever, I'd definitely go back to Grownish because Grownish it's in its creative. at a creative peak that I hope is lasts, because it's a really, really good, funny adult. It's about kids, but it just doesn't dumb anything down, and it is very much an honest show, and so I like it. And then I hope y'all watched Amanda Seales' comedy special, I Be Knowing. And for those of you all, I don't even understand people that have not watched Insecure. I don't know. That's just like, I just don't understand. Like, I'm not judging it. I just don't understand. But, because I mean, that's like you watching Culture and Making. That's kind of like Insecure's equivalent, I feel, like when I watch, because I'm a early adopter, so I'm always a day one. So, like, I was a day one Sex in the City. I'm just day one. And what you get from being a day one, you lose some stuff because when you're later binger, like I don't want somebody coming up to me putting all sorts of quotes. I don't know where she bought that dress. I don't know what dress she was wearing. One of them times, because I was watching it every Sunday night or whatever, and I had a life. You know what I mean? So I remember some things, but I don't remember everything. But the one great thing that you get from being a day one is just really seeing how things develop over time and how things develop within the context of other things that are going on in the culture. And nobody does it better than Insecure right now. And the reason why, and Amanda is a character in Insecure. For all your watchers, she's Tiffany doing the flyest or looking the flyest. So this is her own special. And the interesting thing about it is that I had not known much about Amanda. She used to go by Amanda Diva, and she was just one of those people like, you see on a club flyer, she might be hosting something or on something. And then for a hot minute, she was with Floetry, but I just didn't get it. I probably couldn't even tell you how she looked. I just didn't get it. And she talks about this a lot on the morning show, on one of her morning show appearances. I'm going to try to find the link. But basically, because she had this issue where she was hosting for MTV and stuff, but she had this issue where people knew who she was, but she wasn't making no money. So it's like she'd be on the bus and people like, that's not you. And she'd be like, this is me. And they'd be like, that's not you, because why would you be on the bus? She's like, I'm on the bus because I don't have no money. And she talks about how fame does not mean anything if you don't have money. So then she moved to LA, because LA is just basically like the hot spot for Black creatives right now. And, got in with Issa and everything, started doing comedy and everything. And she's just one of those people that feels like she's at her peak now. And it's so, and see, if you're a creative person, it's so important to kind of watch the trajectory of these people's creative journeys, because, and kind of think about them in terms of your own, because at every step along her career, she probably felt that she was doing the best that she could do. And she probably was. But things don't work out, and you learn from that, and then you become able to do something better and something with more resonance to people, and you can't know all that from jump. It would be great if you could. Some people do create things that they're wise before their years, and that they have all of that kind of seeming internalized from the very beginning, but most of us aren't like that. Most of us have to go through these struggles, and it's only by committing to the creative journey that you will ever get to where you need to go. And it's only by giving your all at that particular moment and that project failing, and you'd be like, fuck, what am I going to do? Who am I now? Like, is it even worth it? And you getting those dark moments of the soul, and then you get up, and then you do something else, and then you do another project, and then you do another project, and that is the creative life. And eventually you get an HBO special called I Be Knowing. So it's just really funny. I don't even want to mess up any jokes, but just my favorite joke involves a CVS receipt. And every cliche about the special is good. It's smart and it's funny. It's all, it's all on there. But tell your friends, I even called up my father, and he was like, he answered the phone. He's like, is Jesus and Moro on yet? Because I introduced him to Jesus and Moro, and they've been off. So he's been like, call me as soon as they have a date. So I was like, no, it's not Jesus and Moro, but it's this woman, Amanda Seales. I think you really find it funny. Just go ahead and watch. I wasn't trying to give him too much information. I'm trying to be on the phone all night. And he, emailed me back the next morning and said he loved it and everything, and who is she, and she is so talented. And so just tell everybody, because it really is a very special experience. It's one of those comedy breakthrough specials that I think, we'll be talking about for a long time. Um, Now, it is very hard to talk about a critique of something in today's day and age when everybody wants to just be canceling people. Everybody wants to perceive every little thing as a read or as you shading somebody, and it creates this uncomfortable environment where we can't just talk. Because the one thing that gets on my goddamn nerves with like Twitter conversations and stuff like that is like you cannot assume that everybody knows everything you know in advance. That is so like you cannot get mad at that person for not knowing these things, especially if you know good and well that their intention is not to harm. Try to have a conversation. But then a lot of times what happens is that those people get defensive because the initial kind of critique was coming so extra that they had to feel protective, and then ain't nothing got done, right? So I think we have got to get to a point where we can just start mentioning things. And sometimes I just have legitimate questions, mentioning things and actually having response. And it's like, I'm not attacking you. I just want to know. And if you did not know what I have to say, then maybe that might be something you want to think about in the future. And we're all good. And that's the kind of context that I want to have. Now it seems like I'm going way too much just to say what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. So there's this one part in Amanda's special where she talks about her inner, her inner gay man, and she calls him Latravius. And she says something like, gay black men have more confidence than anybody on the planet because they could just be like, not today, not today, not today, not today. And it's a funny, bit and everything like that. But it's moving me to a place that makes me uncomfortable. And it makes me immediately flash back to, a lot of y'all are going to be way too young for this, but makes me flash back to Michelle Wallace's Black Macho and the myth of the Superwoman, and how the myth of, the strong black woman, the strong black woman, the strong black woman. Yeah, it's nice to be called strong, but that erases an individual identity, and that also makes it impossible for that person to have their needs addressed so they wouldn't have to be so goddamn strong. Sometimes you don't want to have to be so goddamn strong. You know what I mean? So we have to be very careful when we use that word strong when for marginalized people, because it can be too easy to, it almost can come across like, well, you can deal with it. Well, fuck you, I can't deal with it. I don't want to have to be so goddamn strong. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. It's just, let's just think about, we should be able to celebrate the resilience of the Black queer community without sort of fetishizing this whole idea of strength, because again, that takes away the person. Because I wanted to be fun. Yeah, I'm strong as fuck. Okay, I'm strong as fuck for recording this podcast in the middle of the night and don't even know if anybody's going to listen to it, but it's what I feel like I need to do creatively. So that is that. I'm going to do it. That's strength to me. That's creative strength. I want to be known for that, the strength that I put to things that are strength, putting towards social activism, something. I don't want to be given flowers for like the strength that I have to put up just to deal with society's BS. I'd rather not have to deal with society's BS. Will that make me less strong? So to take away that, I'll be weak for that matter. I don't want to be defined by the way that I respond to oppressive circumstances. I want to be defined by the way that I respond to things, to an agenda that I set, social justice, creativity, and everything like that. I want to be praised for my strength in that, not praised to deal with some old racist, homophobic bullshit. Fuck that. And that's why I think that the Black Boy Joy movement is so important, because that really centers Black men. It brings back, and the Black boy part is so important to me. And some people, when I use that, they think I'm diminishing myself as a black man. I'm just like, bitch, I've never, bitch, test me and you see how much black man is here. But like, what I think the black boy joy is, because a lot of us, I know, as black men, we might not have never ever felt like we had that boyhood joy that is just the province of white boys. You know, white boys have this thing, this carefree boyhood that we're never allowed to have. You know, whether or not it's my extent of just being queer, not accepted into that kind of stuff, and then being black and sort of outside of that. And we know how white people, police officers, social workers, just in general, perceive black teenagers or black children to be older than they actually are. So we are kind of, our boyhood joy is kind of erased. So I love that that movement. That's the kind of thing that I think is so important. But the other thing about, and I know if she's listening to somebody listening, she's like, this was a minute bit. Why are you going so deep? It's just stuff that it felt a way to me, and I just wanted to. It did not feel a way to me. I felt a way about it, knowing that the intentions were to broaden up a conversation of the representation and to bring black gay lives into this comedy sphere, when most often when black gay lives are brought into a black comedy sphere, it's as, you know, that cliche, oh, if I ever saw my son, you know, with some Fenty beauty, I'd knock him upside his head. No, we don't need any more of that bullshit. So I appreciate somebody like Amanda bringing us in, but not bringing us in that stereotypical way. But I'm just curious, because she says in the skit, she keeps talking, she calls, what's the man's name? Yeah, Latravius. She calls Latravius a gay black man. And so I was like, that's interesting. And it kind of brought me back to, like, last summer, I was reading Michael Arceneaux's fantastic collection of essays, I Can't Date Jesus. What's the subtitle? Let me have to put on my reading glasses. I Can't Date Jesus, Love, Sex, Family, Race, and the Other Reasons I Put My Faith in Beyonce. It's a fabulous book. Again, like with Amanda's special, tell your cousins to read it, tell your mama to read it, tell your daddies to read it, tell your stepdaddies to read it, give them to your aunties, you know, give it to everybody you know. It is really a very funny book, but it addresses issues of why sexuality can still come up as such a kind of like a volatile topic, a fiery topic within some black communities. So it's very, very necessary. But while I was reading it, he kept referring to himself as a gay black man, a gay black man, a gay black man. And that, you know, every time I said it, it was like that, you know, that rewind sign with the DJ, rewind sound with the DJ. Because, like, my generation, like, and I'm talking about, like, black gay men, black gay creative men, coming out of the 70s into the 80s into the 90s, we had to fought so... Wait, did I say we had to fought? We had to fight so hard to be recognized as black gay men. Okay? Because it wasn't like it was now. There were a zillion of gay papers. This was like the explosion of the gay press. A lot of cities had many gay papers and all this kind of stuff. So... so what you would run into is, like, you would write black gay man and they would switch it up because of their style book or whatever and say gay black man, and you're like, well, appreciate the work, because it was gigs people was paying back then. So, like, you know, you was being respectful and shit. It's like, okay, I appreciate the work, but I identify as a black gay man. You know, and sometimes they would switch it and switch it back. It was like a real ass thing. And for me, the situation was very simple. I put the black first because the black came first. I came out my mama black. Okay. And for the first, you know, formative years of my life, I dealt with that as a black person. And within blackness, it was like, oh, you know, I think that little boy is cute. Okay. I might be black and gay. So I'm black gay. You know, I understood my gayness through my blackness, which I do think, you know, growing up in DC, a certain type of city, a certain type of cosmopolitan city, I do understand that as a privilege. um, because of the people I was around and because of the resources that I had. But that's why I saw it personally. But just in a rhetorical sense, it was this fight with white gay editors of magazines and things that really wanted you to foreground the gay situation and kind of subsume you into the gayness and not want to talk about racial issues and um, not want to deal with blackness. So it was like a real for real thing. I mean, if you think about I'm trying to pass on my notes. I done passed this part in the notes. Hold on. Lord, I done lost my note. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so like this is two examples of things that were really titled for very specific reasons. One of the first anthologies of black gay writings, it was called In the Life, a gay black anthology, and that was by Joseph Beam. Never had the chance to meet him. Met a lot of people that were in the book, but again, that black gay anthology was very important. Those words, the ordering of those words were very important. Following that up, somebody who was a friend of mine, Essex Hemphill, came out with the follow-up anthology that Joseph Beam had already been working on, and it was called Brother to Brother, New Writing by Black Gay Men. You know, it was so important because once these books were out there that said black gay, it became much easier for freelance writers and stuff to be able to make that case. Because at this point, before I was into music, before I was into anything, my first job out of college was at a gay bookstore. So, you know, it was it was a daze because I could read everything I want to book home and everything like that. You know, that was back in the heyday of the porn magazine. So I'd be like, oh, you know, I think I'm gonna sweep. I think I'm gonna get the magazines together, and I'd be back there for hours. So it was good times. But part of that is that there was sort of this there was a book review that was run out of the bookstore, the Lambda Book Review, and then the editor there, he liked my writing. I was lazy. I don't know what have no how to do it, but he liked my writing. He hooked me up with a lot of other editors. So at one point, I was writing for a lot of different sort of these regional gay magazines, and it was. And I'm going to share some of that stuff. I've come across some of it, so I'll share it on future blog posts and stuff. But it was a real thing to have to fight to be called black gay. So now when I read things and it's like gay black, I'm just like, ugh. I know that there must be some sort of a reason to it that, you know, generationally, whatever, I'm just not a part of. But that's the question I have. If somebody knows or, you know, or whatever, I would really like to get to the bottom of the black gay thing because again it's something I can't imagine that it's being done maliciously, and these all are race people, so I think that it's being done deliberately for a point. It's just that you know, I need to know what it is because I still just have that very visceral kind of, my whole body seizes up like what's going on, you know. Um, so basically, that is the. Let me see. I'm flipping the card, y'all. If y'all know how fast I'm flipping these cards, make sure I ain't forgotten nothing. But I'm flipping through these cards, flipping these cards. I think I addressed everything that I wanted to address. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope to be back next week. You know, I'm not going to tell y'all, but I have a specific number of these that I have in mind that I'm going to do to stick with it for a while and see, you know, if I still like doing it, if y'all like to hear from me and everything like that. So I really appreciate you listening because I know I was rambling, doing all sorts of stuff, doing the most, whatever. But I really do appreciate you listening. I'd love to hear some feedback. I'd love to hear what you want more of. I'm not sure I can handle what you want less of because a lot of this is just me. But you know, just really thank you for listening and for subscribing and rating and all of that good stuff. Because I'm just, you know, I'm just a black gay man out here just trying to be a part of the conversation, you know. So until next time, be cool, be kind, be creative, be your goddamn self. Love y'all. Craig. Oh, hold on. Let me put my theme music back on, y'all. Hold on. So just assume, okay, here we go, I think. Can y'all hear it? Oh, y'all can't hear it. Let's try to. So embarrassing. It's gonna be one of those weeks. One of those weeks.